This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel this fine Family Day Monday, and I have to say it's an absolutely fine Family Day Monday as I got to get the camera centered up. As simply said, well, last night between somewhere between about midnight and 9 o'clock this morning, I rolled out of bed at about 9:15, let's be honest. So somewhere in between there, I ended up officially crossing on the back end of YouTube the 7,500 subscriber mark here on Dolynny TV. That, guys, is absolutely unreal. That's a mark I've been chasing for a long, long, long while. So thank you so much to everybody that in the past few months has subscribed to get me there, obviously, but B, everybody that's been subscribed for years now or has subscribed over the past year and a bit of Oilers coverage here on Dolynny TV. I absolutely appreciate it. Couldn't do this without you guys. So that said, what I've got for you guys, because every time we hit a new goal, there is a new one of these that comes out. Of course, if you can kind of see on your screen what the background picture is, I'll leave that to the comments to guess that, because I think it's from this weekend. It's a picture from this weekend, and I think it's very easy to guess if you can kind of make out what's behind the word content on here. So this is the new subscriber graphic till we at least hit 8,000 subscribers here on Dolynny TV. And of course, now I've got that reminder because, guys, that's kind of the running thing here on Dolynny TV, to not forget to leave a like on the video or stream as well. That said, ladies and gentlemen, we have some stuff to get to, business to get to, because everybody when Darnell Nurse was signed, everybody when Zach Kassian was signed, everybody when Caleb Jones was signed, everybody thought, oh my goodness, the next contract is Riley Sheahan or Josh Archibald. And this is probably perhaps the weirdest story of the season, is two guys that started the year, I'll tell you, just based on their hockey references stat pages, the complete game logs, I'll tell you when this about started to change. Because for Riley Sheahan, let's just be honest, he did not have a single point until his 18th game of the season, and then it took him another 9 games to get another point. Alright, that's absolutely nuts. Now we're talking about extending a guy that in his first 27 games on the Oilers had 2 points. But that's the way this season has gone. That never say die, never give up on your guys, never go out and quit on them. And that's what Riley Sheahan and Josh Archibald haven't done. They have not quit, they have not been quit on, and they have gone to work every single night this season to try and get themselves a contract extension, probably A, but B, get this team to the playoffs by playing their role. And this is, guys, I know a lot of people earlier in the season did not understand why I would be hard on Connor McDavid, but love a guy like Josh Archibald or Riley Sheahan. It's very, very simple mathematics, ladies and gentlemen. I love the guys that go out there every single night. They aren't the most skilled. They aren't the points getters. They just go to work. They get the job done. And that's exactly what we have in these two guys. And all of a sudden, when you do that long enough in a season, right? You think about that long enough in a season, you start getting rewarded. And you think about Riley Sheahan in his last 13 games, shall we? Let's think about him in his last 13. From game 41 to game 54, he had a goal back against Chicago on Wednesday, that big win we had, right? Okay, fine and dandy. A win against Calgary on February 1st, he had an assist. Then you've got a win against Arizona, 1 goal, 3 assists. And then a win against Montreal back on January 9th, right? So he hasn't scored a ton of points as of late. I think Archibald probably has more, but that's a win against Montreal. And that's, you think about this, the last 4 games Riley Sheahan has gotten a point or more. The Edmonton Oilers are a big 4-0. So good things happen with our Edmonton Oilers squad when the depth scoring comes up clutch. And that's what we've been seeing all of a sudden with Connor McDavid out of the lineup. Is it's not necessarily that every depth scorer is scoring. That's not the case, right? Or else Draisaitl wouldn't be 5 points off of 100 this year. What I'm saying and what I'm getting at is just simply put, simply stated, the fact that, you know what, timely depth scoring and guys contributing in the absence of a Connor McDavid, even if it's just a goal per game, whatever. Last night it was, well, Mr. Josh Archibald getting 2 goals in a game, and of course the overtime winner, but we'll talk about him in a minute. So for Riley Sheahan, guys, this is his stats. Of course, started way back in the day with the Detroit Red Wings. Yes, there's a connection there to Ken Holland. He has 13 points in 54 games played this year. That's, you know what, for a guy who's played fourth line or third line minutes, depending on how you look at scaling this team, and especially look at recently his ice time average is bumped up to 1242. That realistically is probably closer to probably the 1220 mark, but consider the last few games here. The last 5 games he's played 1836, 1740, 1213, 1528, and 1656. Going back to that Nashville win. The Oilers are 4-1-0 in their last 5 as well. Don't forget that. But Riley Sheahan having an incredible impact. The one thing that maybe is of key note here is the fact that he's shooting higher than he really has in, since his 15.3 shooting percentage at age 22. So Riley Sheahan's having a good year, but you get rewarded for hard work and putting pucks on net, and that's good to see as well. So then what else do we have that Riley Sheahan's been really good at? Takeaways, that's the other stat there, 30-19. And the face-off percentage, now that he's taken more draws, has actually dipped below 50. But that's all right, ladies and gentlemen. That is totally fine and dandy right there. So let me get you Josh Archibald's stats, and let's discuss him a little bit here. Because Josh Archibald is a guy who's at times elevated to that top line this year. And that's something, right? In the past, Oilers have elevated a guy to the top line, and it just looks miserable, right? Like, it works for a game, and then, man, why are we still doing that next game? That's just an awful idea. And to an extent, it's the same way with James Neal this year. But then you have a guy like Josh Archibald, who's had some success with Mr. Connor McDavid, has been impactful every time he's gotten up there. And you know what? Now with 16 points in 50 games played this season, he's the same -5 as Riley Sheahan. He has played 13:03 this year, average ice time. And of course, same thing as Sheahan, because of the absence of McDavid, the last 5 games, that's bumped up. So that's probably closer to a truer 1240, 1245-ish average ice time this season. So keep that in mind when we start talking about what Josh Archibald's impact on this Edmonton Oilers team has been so far this year. And you look at the stats here, this is what you need to know. 2 goals shorthanded and 1 assist shorthanded. So 3 of his 16 points have come shorthanded. Josh Archibald has been absolutely lethal in Oilers terms shorthanded this season, and 138 hits. So if Josh Archibald plays the next 18 games, right? He's missed quite a few games this year due to injuries and such, but let's just say he plays 18 more games. 138 hits divided by 50 times 68. He is on pace to shatter his career high in hits by 26 hits this season. So that's absolutely unreal. And that's, I think, Riley Sheahan, we love him for the face-offs. We love him for the workman effort. Josh Archibald, we love him because he's just infectious. He plays an infectious style of hockey. He goes out there, bangs the body, turns over the puck, just does kind of all the things right. You look at these takeaways to giveaways, he has more than double, 2.3 times more takeaways than giveaways. And that's exactly what you see on the ice, right? It's not that this is one of those fooling stats where it's like, that can't be right. That's not what I'm seeing out there. But this is truthful, right? He bangs the body, digs in deep, and gets pucks loose and gets scoring chances, or even just more zone time. And that's one thing early in the year that line between Jujhar Khaira, Riley Sheahan, and Josh Archibald wasn't getting enough credit for, because everybody thought Jujhar Khaira should be a 40-goal scorer or something, is the simple fact that, you know what, they were banging the body down low, they were creating offensive zone time, not pressure or anything per se, but just zone time in which they were wearing down the other team and allowing the Oilers to really get to work with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And yes, I remember early in the season, everybody's freaking out, oh, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are the only ones scoring. But they were scoring as a result of 2 guys, especially Sheahan and Archibald, going to work every night in the offensive zone, grinding board play, and just working the other team down low to tire them out and allow the top guns to get out there and work their magic. And realistically, that works. To an extent, that worked. That's why we are mostly where we are today. Now, with Connor McDavid out, Leon Draisaitl leading the top line, you've got 3 lines of workhorses going to work, getting the job done, and getting things finished off every single shift. Yes, our 4th line, or whatever you classify, what is it, Haas, whoever's playing on the left, and Sheahan, they've been getting worked in the defensive zone. But bend, not break. That's what it takes in the playoffs as well. So that's a good sign as well. Guys, that said, Sheahan, Archibald due up for extensions next. The question is, what do you give them at this point? Because the thing is this one of those scenarios where they'll just be glad to get playoffs and come back and do it all over again? Or is it career highs and they want more? Let me know in the comments section down below, guys. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you once again for 7,500 subs. We're on that train to 8,000. I will catch you in the next one.